so much for that warm introduction. How's everybody doing? All right. We have quite a bit of people coming into the room. I'm so excited to be here today. We have a great program lined up for you. Wanted to see if Bilan is ready. Bilan.
I am. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
I can hear you loud and clear. So how's your day going?
My day is going very well. One, I want to say I'm delighted to be here, and I'm excited to have this conversation about the business of art. You know, there are so many different things and influences that brought me here today. So you all are in for a treat. One, because I'm going to talk about the steps needed or the tools needed to transition into entrepreneurship as a young artist. I'm going to talk about some things to consider when you're investing in art. And I'm going to also mention mental health and art therapy. Okay, but first, let me tell you a little bit about myself and the Bilan collection and some influences that led me to where I am today.
Bilan, before we go into that, just give me 1 second. I gotta make sure, as I spoke to you earlier about, gotta have my wine ready. Everybody, grab their wine.
I'm ready.
One of my favorite wines I'm trying is the 19 Crimes, right? You know, the good little wine, not too strong, not too light, right in the middle. So everybody just pour your wine, you know. We got to get ready for this session. It is a networking session. You know, we want to sort of unwind, have people relax, learn about some art. I am actually right now in downtown Houston at my office, my new office, and getting ready to have a very productive week next week. But before then, you know, I'm excited. Now that everybody got their wine together, I guess we could start the conversation. So how this is going to go, we're going to spend about 20 minutes to just kind of talk about some work that Bilan is doing, to first introduce her, and then go into a live painting session, and then go into showcasing some of her painting at a gallery. This is a hybrid event. You know, a portion of it is virtual, is live, right? And so, Bilan, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, as I do have your resume here, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our membership. And again, we're very excited to hear from you.
Right. So I'm live from Raleigh, North Carolina. And like I mentioned, there are so many different things that have impacted my professional, academic, and my creative path that led me to where I am today. And that journey began in Memphis, Tennessee, with the love, the care, and protection of the matriarch in my family. So my Aunt Curtis, my mother Cheryl, and my grandmother Marilyn really created a pact and instilled the importance of academic rigor, authenticity, and ultimately living life by design, which is my motto for my collection. And living life by design is simply having a purpose, making an impact, and taking control of your own narrative. And ironically, those are simply the tools that I used to transition into entrepreneurship and begin the Bilan collection. Right now, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, but my professional career launched in New York in financial services. So I also work at Bloomberg, and I do things in that area. I do some consulting, but ultimately when people ask, who are you? I say, I'm an artist and I'm a creative. So that's who I am. Amazing.
So walk me through, Bilan, how, by the way, I just want to pivot for a little bit. So the Business of series is a series that the National Black MBA national-wise has had many chapters participate in. This is a series where we try to identify areas of opportunity, educate folks about different industries. We have the Business of Sports, that is one of our key events in our chapter. Then we have the Business of Medicine event that we're putting together. And then now we have the Business of Art event that happens throughout the year, but this is, of course, a special event. So, Ron, back to you. Talk to me about your evolution in art in terms of what sparked you to get started, because many of us think we're artistic in terms of creative, right? But
Right.
we sort of maybe don't know how to start, or haven't had a life trigger event to get us started. So what was that like to say, hey, listen, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, every artist's process is different. And I think it's great that we're talking about having this conversation about art right now and how I got started. So throughout life, we all experience growth, change, happiness, sadness, and sometimes loss. The loss of the most important people in my life uh, ignited a fire in me and allowed me to kind of think about ways to be creative and take that emotion and create something that I can't say in words and put it on a canvas. So I didn't have a formal background in art, but I knew that there was something that I needed to unleash my creative juices and just really go out there and take risks, honestly. And I saw that there was some talent there. And, you know, in the beginning, I didn't think of it as me being an entrepreneur or taking that leap into the business world. It was simply me wanting to create. And then after a while, I realized, socializing my art, talking to local businesses about what I wanted to do and my focus for the Bilan collection allowed me to start collaborating with other people that had ideas in the city about how we can get more people involved. So it's really about networking. Networking is the number one thing. Once you find that you have the creative juice, start socializing your work and talking about what you do. You don't have to wait until you have 10 pieces or you feel like you've made it or you're at your peak. You can start socializing your work right now. So that's exactly what I would tell someone that's thinking about becoming an artist or a young artist that hasn't really got out there and socialized their work to galleries or local businesses.
Wow. So in a sense, your art was almost like a art therapy sort of event for you, right? Where it helped you get to a better mental health state. And so I kind of wanted you to talk about how important that is, especially during pandemic, where many people seeing their wealth deplete, many people are losing loved ones. Talk to us about how art therapy, actually the idea of art therapy and how it relates to mental health.
Right. Once again, mental health impacts all communities, and art therapy unleashes something inside of you emotionally to allow you to kind of release anxiety, not feel overwhelmed. Think about when you go to a therapist. A therapist is not magic. You're able to release the information and the things that you're feeling to someone else. Think of that canvas as someone else or a reflection of you, where you're able to take the paint and you're able to make decisions about how you're going to curate something that you can't say in words. So I think Henry Matisse said in a quote before, he said, if you can say it in words, then why paint? So it's all about unleashing those emotions and putting it on the canvas. And if we want to just talk about our community, the African American community is 13.4% of the U.S. population. 16% of our community report mental health conditions every year, and it's growing by 3%. That's about 7 million people.
Right.
And what we want to do is challenge status quo. We don't want to talk about traditional medicine and things like that. We want to take art therapy and things that are unconventional and heal our communities with those things because they work.
Right. Wow. Awesome. So, art creates a sense of experience that is like no other, right? And so merging that into an avenue where it could help one get past hard times is something that, is one of those critical aspects of art that, not a lot of actions could sort of exude. So now we move on to the actual business piece of art, right? Many that have the means and that are interested in art don't necessarily know where to start. I was one of those people, right? And I was fortunate that a friend of mine opened an art gallery, and I was able to showcase some of his work at what I mentioned earlier, the professional mixture that we do in New York City. And that opened my mind completely to the world of art. And how does one get into that business? How does one understand the valuation? How does one understand how auction houses interact with value in art? How does one identify that next artist? Talk to us about that.
Right. Well, first let me say the art market, or the global art market, is so large that everybody can put their hands in the pot. I think right now the global art market is valued at about 64.3 billion. And I think last year
I want to pause right there. 61, you said?
64.3 billion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I think last year there were about 40 million transactions that we know of, because once again, there are transactions being made in the art market that are not captured in the auction houses.
Right.
Okay, so everybody can put their hands in the pie. So if you are interested in investing in art, or being a part of the auction process, you definitely can do that. But to answer your question, how do we get involved? How do we do our due diligence so we can know that we're making the right choice? Where there are art or auction houses or benchmark organizations that are in place that allows you to evaluate art. So those are the top three, I would say, is Christie's, Phillips, and Sotheby's. Those are the top three auction houses. And how they do it is they look at your previous auction results, and they can value your art based on the medium that you've used in your previous sales in revenue for the previous year.
So somebody new coming into the industry, is there an agent or how do they get their art to that next level?
Right.
Is there somebody that pushes them?
I thought about how I would frame this or make a parallel for you guys, but there are art dealers out there. And what the art dealers are intermediaries that represent you and your art. But what you have to do is do your due diligence to find the galleries and the dealers that are going to align with your values and your art, to make sure there's a good marriage there. And I know a lot of people that are on this live have a business background or development background. So if you have a development background, if you are a nonprofit and you're looking for funding, you have to find donors that match and sync with your values. That's the same thing with art. So you really have to do your due diligence. I would say some of the top places to go is artdealer.org or artcollectors.com. And then also another thing, just to kind of see who's out there, what are some trending art, go to artnet.com, because I use Artnet a lot, just to kind of see what art is trending right now or what was trending last year, to get some ideas.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, artnet.com, artnet.com.
Artnet, and then artdealers.org is another thing. Artdealers.org,
ladies and gentlemen, artdealers.org.
So what Art Dealers also allows you to see is what galleries are a part of that organization.
Okay.
So it allows you to verify galleries and then do your due diligence on the galleries to see if they align with the vision of your collection or your artwork.
Okay. And we see, is there one of the things that I wanted to discuss is the types of art forms, right? Is there one more valuable than the other, or is this based on whoever's willing to pay the price, right?
There's definitely not one more valuable than the other. So you have cubism, you have abstract minimalism, and then you have realism, surrealism.
Right.
So you have different genres and mediums of art that's out there, and you can't value the art based on the type of art it is. It's all about the viewer. It's all about the audience and what they see in the art. One of my favorite artists is Frank Stella. And he started painting abstract minimalism, and then he matriculated to sculpting. So he refined something, and he saw that over time, you can be an expert in one area, and then you can expand out. And one of his favorite sayings is, the art is beyond the canvas. Do not feel like an artist or art is confined to the canvas. And that's something that I live by too. You know, I love abstract painting. I love using acrylic, but I often see myself looking at other, artists and trying to figure out, what else can I do? What other risk can I take as an artist? So one thing that I actually just did is I created a vase that mirrors the painting that you see behind me in the Pearl collection. So you can kind of see this vase here.
Absolutely.
And this is me really taking a risk, because I'm an abstract painter on canvas, but I wanted to start doing something that, I know that my audience loves. So everyone loves the Pearl collection, but let me see if I can do an everyday piece for everyone. So I started to design vases.
Beautiful, beautiful. So merging in the paintings with the actual furniture as well as a combined statement or combined experience, what have you.
Right. And this is another one here.
All right. All right. Beautiful. So are you getting into the furniture design space too with your artwork?
Actually, and I think me and you, we talked about this in the past about, social issues that I may see in the art space. And I was speaking with one of the local florists here, and she was telling me that, she's a florist, and, she was a part of a process, or she knew of a process at an art museum where florists would go in and curate arrangements based on the art that they see. And she was literally the only Black woman that was accepted into that program. And because of COVID, she was not able to participate right now, but I'm sure she will very soon. You saw her flowers, so that she's going to participate.
Oh,
but
she's there.
She's here.
Oh, bring her to the camera. Bring her to the camera.
Bring her. So this is Shannon.
How are you? How are you? Real quick, just introduce yourself to our guest. I heard so much about you, so real quick, I wanted the guest to hear as well.
Thank you. So I'm Shannon. I am the owner of Bilan House, and I created these beautiful arrangements for Bilan here. She's such a sweetheart. I love her artwork. But I created these arrangements just going off of the colors of her work and just her abstract art. And so, yeah, it just came together in the last hour right before this event. Wow.
Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, you never know who's going to jump into the conversation. We have a power team over there. So excited to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Amazing. You're welcome. Thank you.
And once again, it's about, networking and empowerment. And Shannon told me her story, and I immediately wanted to collaborate with her. So I knew I was making these custom bases. And I said, you know what? I have this event. Let's collaborate and do something together.
Absolutely. And I want to remind folks, the event that you're talking about is the Black and Bloom, correct?
Right. So there's an event here in North Carolina called Art and Bloom. And Shannon mentioned that because of the shortage of African-American florists there, what about having something called Black and Bloom? And she would get together Black florists that she knew in the community, and I would bring in artists, and we would have that marriage of the Black and Bloom for us, because we were underrepresented in that process.
So in 2021, are we going to see that event again? Or
hopefully, and hopefully National Black MBA is going to be a sponsor.
All right, you hear that? So
I'm putting you on the spot.
Certainly would love to come down there and check you ladies out. Hopefully, the pandemic subsides by then, but we'll see. And typically it's around the summer?
Yeah, so the art event they have here is typically held in March, and it starts on a Thursday and it goes through Saturday. And so what normally happens is the artist, the florist will go in probably around January, and you just pick your piece of art out of a drawing. So you don't know what piece of art you will be recreating based with your flowers. And then from there, you have about 2 months to prepare, order your flowers, get everything together. And then it typically runs Thursday through Saturday. And I think what year? 2020? In 2019, they had about maybe 30,000 guests come in over that time frame. And I've been going to that event for the last 2 years, and I never saw any Black florists featured.
Wow.
And I was so in awe, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to throw my name in the hat. And I mean, it was older, Caucasian florists who had shops, and I was the only Black person sitting in the room that day.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and then it got canceled due to COVID. So they just sent out an email about it actually this week with a survey asking when would participants like to have the 2021 event, which was really interesting because, like we said, we talked about Black in Bloom, and I'm like, I think that could really be something big here.
Right.
And just nationally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what is do you have a website for this event so that we can let the audience know?
Not at the moment, but we'll definitely share the information with you once everything is launched, and I will keep you guys abreast as we're rolling things out as well.
Perfect. I wanted to go back to your entrepreneurial journey, right? Into becoming not only the artist, but also the businesswoman, right?
Right.
So, for those that are interested in this space, right? What sort of nuggets can you give them for them to seek the right investment? Investment is always a risk in whatever industry, right? But for them to ensure that they have a return on their investment of time, investment of funds into this art world, what sort of nuggets can you give in that regard?
Right. No, being an artist and curating a piece can take a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
I would say something that I wish someone told me when I started out as an artist is, your art is your baby, but be flexible on letting certain pieces go, and also be flexible on curating custom pieces. And that's something that I do now, and that's where I get the bulk of my revenue, is curating custom pieces, having conversations with large institutions like churches and businesses and financial institutions about my art and how it can be placed in doing custom pieces. So even though these pieces you see may be gorgeous and you love them, a lot of people want the art to be connected to them in some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely think about being able to improvise and customize pieces for your audience, even though these are your babies and you love them.
And I'm here taking some notes, so bear with me. Improvise. Got it.
So that's one thing. And another thing, and I think I mentioned this before, is, be confident and forceful about, socializing your art. Another thing I would tell a young artist is don't undervalue your work. You know what your work means. You know the blood, sweat, and tears you put into your work. So, you understand the valuation, so do not undervalue your work. And then those are the top 3 things that I would suggest people or young artists should consider when they're on the road of entrepreneurship.
Wow. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, Bilan Stribling. Amazing. It's not over yet, but I just wanted to give you flowers right now.
Thank you.
Right now. Okay. All right. So we're going to transition, if you're ready, Bilan, to a live pinning session so people can actually see some of the process. I know it probably takes you hours upon hours, and I'm putting a little bit of pressure on you.
You are.
But if you're comfortable, would you be able to do a live piece for us?
So I will do a live piece. I'm going to do something similar to the Pearl series that you see here, because it's one of my more simpler pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pearl series, and we're going to have a blank canvas come up, and I'm going to scoot my chair a bit so I can bring it up close so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Just give me one moment.
All right, we're gonna take that moment. We're gonna use that. Yeah, let's go and just get your second round.
Okay.
And
I'll let you guys look at a painting while I'm taking my time.
All right, so we're gonna let Bilan get set up. Mr. Norville, thank you again for a amazing EAS session. Wanted to make sure that I publicly state that. We are very excited about the National Black MBA Metro New York Chapter 2021 initiatives. 2020 been a challenging year, but folks, you can see we've been very busy. All right, we didn't let the pandemic hold us back, and we brought the information to our people, to our members, and this is what we do. At this time, you know, I'm going to put some music on, relax. Let's ease into the next session, okay? Folks, I wanted to jump in. Fresh out the press. We will be offering Bilan Stribling's artwork on our website. Just got the confirmation just now, so wanted you guys to know right away, and so be on the lookout for Bilan's artwork right on our website. Additionally, we are live on Facebook right now, and so just want to let everybody know that. Okay, folks? All right. So as we continue to wait for Bilan, everybody is. Oh, you ready? Okay. So the lifestyle in our chapter is something that we are very passionate about. Not only do we work hard, but we network hard as well. And so we have had a dedication to this pillar, winning the lifestyle chapter of the year about 2 years ago, if my memory serves me right. And so from there, we've done many events that brought folks together and brought sponsorship opportunities for our corporate sponsors, ranging from, of course, the Upmixer series of event that brings many professional organizations together, brother sister organizations. Then we have our Black Tie Gala where we honor community members or people or partners or sponsors that have shown a very strong effort to help us push the initiatives that we have for the community. And then we have, boating events. We have golf events, of course. Many opportunities for folks in various different levels of their careers to network, whether that's candidates networking with potential recruiters or folks in different industries networking to try to find opportunities and go from there. So we are very honored and appreciative of this pillar. And at this point, let me stop talking and move on to Bilan. Bilan, you have the mic.
Okay, guys. So as an artist, once again, I've learned throughout time different styles and different modes and techniques. Right now, what I'm doing is basing my painting. And I actually learned layering process or layering acrylic on the canvas when I went to New Orleans and I started to talk to local artists. And they told me the techniques that they used with acrylic paint. And that was a few years ago. And ever since then, in some of my latest pieces, you'll see layering and texture. So one other thing that I like to use on my color palette and my canvas is molding paste to give my canvas texture. And I also base it with the color. And then I go back over it. You'll start to see notes of silver and gold pigments in my paint as well. So right now I'm just basing. So George, you can continue to talk as I base the paint if you like.
Definitely wanted the folks to get the full experience in terms of some of the techniques that you're using in your artwork. So, folks, again, we at the New York chapter of National Black MBA, we try to touch many different industries in terms of getting folks to understand how to get to that next level, how to get to that C-suite position. And then, of course, we have a strong focus, obviously, especially this week, on entrepreneurism. We believe that entrepreneurism is a vital piece in terms of creating generational wealth for our community. And as an entrepreneur myself, I pride myself on having certain products and tools that help support those efforts. And so just a little commercial about myself. I own a insurance and risk management organization with headquarters in New York City, Harlem to be specific, and regional office or down here in Houston, Texas. We specialize in small to mid-sized businesses. We work a lot with MWBs that are securing city and municipal contracts. We as well are in that process of securing some municipal contracts with our agency. So, Bilan, so you have a mixture of paints, right?
I do. So I have a cadet blue, a royal blue, and I add a little white as well. And then what I'm going to also add, which is not on my paint palette right now, is silver. So I use silver to kind of brings out my paint. So it gives you a deeper kind of like ocean feel of the painting. So if you've seen the original Pearl, the Pearl series blue, it looks like you're almost looking at the ocean or the deep blue sea. So that's the feel that I want to give you. But right now I'm just basing the painting or the canvas.
So talk to me how you come up with, there's various colors in the spectrum, right? how do you come up with one color versus the other? Is it the particular mood that gets you that? Is it like a idea, or is it like, you know, some sort of inspiration to say, well, you know what, blue's the day. Let's blue today.
Yeah, I think I'm drawn to blue from an emotional appeal. So with the Pearl series, it is about emotion and backbone. So
Mm-hmm.
when I think of blue, I think of happiness, deep thought, ocean, serene, and that's why I use blue as the base of many of my paintings. There are paintings in my collection that are not based with blue, like the Venetian of Life. It has more of a pinkish, peachy base, but most of my paintings are based in blue because of the emotional appeal. For
Okay. Okay.
So right now I'm basing, and what I'm going to do now is put some more texture on there. So right now it just looks like it's a stiff canvas. You're like, what is she doing? What is this background? But it's going to come together. You'll see in a minute.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I'm sure our members are taking notes and listening to the discussion and trying to sort of bring out their artistic.
One of the things I want to note in the Pearl series is that if you look at my Pearl collection, no pearl is shaped the same way. So you see the string of pearls, they're all designed differently. Because as backbone, it represents human, and we're all unique, and we're not designed the same way. The emotions are different. The colors on the backdrop is different. The texture is different, but the pearls are also different as well.
Now, do you actually recreate this piece if somebody says, hey, listen, I love this piece so much that I want an original one? Would you actually recreate this piece?
I'll recreate the Pearl series, but once again, the pearls, the string of pearls are shaped differently in every piece. And I'll give you an example. My pastor here in North Carolina, he was actually here for this event. I curated 4 pieces for him in the Pearl series, but I combined them as one. And I named it 4 corners of the world to represent the 4 angels in each corner of the world. And the whole piece was kind of like going around in the circle. Like if you put the 4 pieces together, it looked like the world with 4 angels at the corner. But really, it was the Pearl series.
Excellent, excellent. So I know we didn't get a tour of the area yet. I'm sure we could get it afterwards. But who's in the room?
So we have just a few people in the room. A few trickled out. So I have some of my close friends and family here. One of my friends, Tiffany, is here, and my friend Camry. And what Tiffany's going to do as I base the painting, she's going to take you guys around the room so you can actually see some of the pieces that are out there.
Oh, this is great. So Tiffany.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. This is amazing. Pleasure to meet you. Interesting way of meeting.
You're right.
Pleasure to virtually meet you. So do you have the names of these pieces as folks get ready to potentially purchase on our website? You wouldn't have the names of these pieces, would you?
Sure. We can definitely give you all the names of the pieces. We'll start with this one here that we're looking at. So our curator is going to give you a little detail about this one.
Yeah, so this piece right here, this one's called Prominence in the Wild.
Prominence in the Wild.
Prominence in the Wild. Folks,
right, and the size of it?
So this one right here is a 36 by 48 canvas.
Okay.
And then, we talk about pricing on the website. But
yeah, the pricing. Did you want to do this one?
Yeah, and then this one right here, this is Storm. This is actually one of my personal favorites here. This is a more recent piece for Bilan. I don't know. Let me ask you, what do you see when you look at this pic? Not me.
And this is one of the most exciting things about art, right? Everybody sees something different. As for myself, you guys might think I'm crazy, but I actually see a bird or a duck. It's weird, but the beak is is the blue on the bottom right there. That could be the beak, and then you have the eye, of course, that white dot. You know, I see a very colorful bird, some sort of bird duck situation. Tiffany, if you could zoom in to the upper, the top. That is cool. That is cool. So that's painted on, or?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Painted hand detail with acrylic.
Amazing pieces.
I'm going to continue on around.
So this one here is classical conditioning. This is one of Bilan's first pieces. Definitely one of her personal favorites. And as you can see, she again used the blue base here.
Yep.
This is a smaller canvas. It's an 18 by 24.
Awesome.
And this is one of my personal favorites. This is called the Venation of Life.
Yes.
And one of the unique things about this piece here, if you zoom in over here on this left side. So this is actual wallpaper that she used to incorporate into her work. And I believe the story is she went out to New Orleans and was watching some of the street artists do some work out there, and they were using some wallpaper in their work, and that's what inspired her to try to incorporate that into her work as well. And I think it came out beautiful. So, all right, this is one of the ones where, you know, when we talk about this piece, we always get a myriad of responses. So I'm again going to ask you, what do you see when you look at this piece here?
This is a little hard. And what was your name again, sir?
My name is Paul.
Paul. Yes, Paul. This is a little difficult. I see multiple things. I first saw a river and some sort of country river, and then I saw I see a wolf in there. You know, believe it or not. I see a man in there. Believe it or not. Yeah, I see multiple things. I can't quite pick one aspect, but in terms of the feeling that I get a very mystic, dark and going into the unknown in a sense with this piece. But it's an amazing piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting perspective you've got there.
And so this is one of the things that unfortunately the pandemic has sort of made things difficult, is that inspiration piece, right? She went down to New Orleans. You mentioned, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, she went down to New Orleans and he had that inspiration. Often in life, I say one of the things I often say to my friends is travel is one of the greatest wealth building opportunities for yourself, the person, right? Because of the level of different experiences that you get, and that when you come back and you recreate it in your community or within your industry. And so I'm sure it's difficult right now for some artists who rely on traveling to sort of get that inspiration, but nonetheless, they're artists. So of course, creativity could come in many different forms. So
right, you got to draw the inspiration from somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So this piece is another one of the more recent pieces here. The label of this piece is the new Narcissus.
Interesting.
Most people say when they first look at it, they see a bird. Before I knew the title, I actually told her it looks kind of like Donald Trump. So when she told me the name of this piece, and not to get into any politics or anything, I just thought it was funny that the name is the new Narcissus.
Oh man, that's interesting. No, it's an interesting piece, man. It's an interesting piece. I didn't see the bird at first. I'll tell you that.
See? All right, so we're gonna come around to the other side and look at a couple more pieces here. Almost done laying down space. So this piece is just delicious cake, courtesy of Bilan's sister. And then this piece right here, this one is called Bloodline. This is a 16 by 20 canvas, so again, relatively smaller canvas in comparison to some of the bigger pieces here. You know, I noticed when I very first saw this painting, this kind of looks like in my opinion, it looks like a face, and you can kind of see the flow of the blood flowing in. And you'll notice one difference between this piece and some of the others is there's a lot more white on the canvas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this piece. I love this piece, and I see the same when I look at this piece. I saw a face, and definitely understand the context of this. So yeah, this is you know, and what I'm seeing too is that on the bottom it's sort of like fire. You know, yeah, it might seem crazy, but it's sort of like fire coming in, and you know, and then you have the trees blowing in the upper left. Very unique piece. I like it. I like it. And folks, feel free to you know, let us know what you feel or what you see in the chat. I know Zoe.
Yeah, sure. So actually, if we can go back to the bloodline piece. So, you know, I brought it up to her when I was looking at all of her artwork that, you know, I noticed that there's more white here. There's actually a little bit more structure here than in some of the other paintings, where you can kind of see how things flow and connect, where as she progressed, she kind of became a little bit more abstract with her approach. But you know, the title of this piece is Bloodline, and she talks about, you know, what originally inspired her to really delve into art. And you know, obviously this is one of her early pieces because, you know, what inspired her was her bloodline and her connection with her very close relatives that had passed.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
And this last piece here,
Yeah.
You say that again?
I said, what other pieces do you have now?
Sure. So this is the final piece we're going to look at here. This one's called Pensive Moments. 16 by 20. And again, another one of the, well, yeah, this is one of the earlier pieces, but this one came a little bit after the more recent one we just looked at. So to me, what I see is it's almost like a bottom part of the painting.
Right.
It just there's something going on, right? And then at the top, it's more, I guess, subtle shapes. And when I see this piece, I kind of just go into the mind frame of, it looks like this person has a lot of in mind. There's some kind of internal conflict that they're dealing with. You know, there's a connection between art and mental health. Bilan could actually go in a lot more detail about, you know, what inspired her and you know, what it means. But when I look at these pieces, I kind of feel that same vibe where it represents something, whether it's some kind of you know, internal conflict or some kind of growth or even some kind of optimistic outlook. I remember one of the pieces you said that you kind of see like a flow of water, and
right.
You know, that's just what I get when I look at these pieces. So, you know, it's just interesting how, regardless of who it is that's viewing the artwork, there's some kind of connection, and it's always beautiful when what the artist intended when they were putting together the piece of work is felt by the person who's consuming the art.
Wow. So Paul, are you an artist yourself?
So Paul, my curator, Pauline.
Okay. I could definitely tell he has a lot of talent. I mean, the way he's describing those pieces, you know, are amazing. So cool.
So I am putting the pearls on there now. Are you able to? Sorry about that.
No worries.
So right now in the pearl series, I'm applying the pearl to the piece, and I'm going to go back and with some of the splash of yellow over the top of it.
Okay.
So once again, for people that are just rolling in, the pearl series represent emotion and backbone. Pearls represent the backbone. So you can think of them as the human experience or actually representative of individuals in your life that it inflicts emotion on you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So this is a tedious process. So usually it takes me a little longer to do it because I'm very particular about it, and I go back over with silver to make it sure it looks like an actual pearl. But for this demonstration, I'm showing you guys the process that I go through.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it looks like that piece is going to be very intense, and so and I know that we are limited on time. So would you be able to have this available for purchasing down the road?
Absolutely. And I will send you guys a link to this piece I'll put it on my website, and I have a link for this piece, and specify that it was curated during the live session with National Black as well.
Bilan, talk to me about real quick. I mean, I kind of put you on the pressure a little bit, but do you have a creative process before you go into it? I sort of push you to go into it, but do you have maybe you sit back and sort of reflect, or maybe grab a bottle of a glass of Riesling or something to get you comfortable and get your creative juices flowing? Do you have a process like that, or are you just kind of go into it?
That's a question people often ask me, and one thing that I did early on, especially in my early paintings, like classical conditioning and broken rules, I started to listen to classical music. So I would listen to Bach. This is weird, but I would listen to the Nutcracker Suite in all seasons. I love the Nutcracker, but those are the things that get me in the mode of painting. So kind of like how I set the tone. I would say in the beginning, I would specify like a theme that I wanted to focus on, like bloodline. When I curated that piece, I said that the theme is family. And I think I had my cousin in town, and he said, I want you to do something that's around our family, that's representative of life, love. And I created that piece. And I'm not sure when Paul was talking about the piece that he told you that the very first thing that I put on that piece were the red lines. I'm not sure. Can I see blood? Mm-hmm. So it was the red lines were the very first thing that I added to this piece. And then I started to curate it. And actually, even though you can see the head up right here, I did this piece upside down. I actually did this piece, painted it upside down, and I flipped it like this.
So it is a head.
It is a head. So this is really what, when you think about life, there are discourses, there's chaos and things in the world that are connected to us at the core. And then here is the dichotomy between chaos and order in the background. So these are the things that we deal with and that are connected to us, that kind of make up our psyche and our experience. And that's what bloodline represents, the human experience and our connectivity to our family. And at the end of all families. So that's why you see the greenery in the background. And this kind of represents the roots of who we are.
And how long did that piece take you to do? From start to finish?
This piece, and once again, I set the tone for my pieces. I usually don't finish them in one piece. Curate my own colors too, so I never just take acrylic paint out and paint with it. I create my own colors for the Bilan collection. So this piece probably took me maybe a week.
Okay. And what was your longest piece? How
It was Prominence in the Wild. And it was one of the larger pieces that Paul shared with you. Prominence in the Wild. So I'm going to show you.
How long did that take you?
That one took me a few months, and I'll tell you why. Don't think, oh, how did it take a few months to do it? I actually worked on other paintings while that painting was not finished.
Okay.
Because when I looked at it and I saw the color palette, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next, and I didn't want to rush into something that I didn't feel was right. So it had to be right. Colors had to mesh together, and then ultimately I curated this piece. And I heard you guys talking about it and trying to figure out what's going on there. This piece represents stillness and resilience. So
Okay.
this here is sort of like a monster-like figure. I don't know if you can kind of see it, like sort of like a snake going through the canvas. And you can see this box here with the head tilted down. This here is a body, okay, with gold pigment, which represents resilience and strength. And the head is upright. And what it is telling you is that when you challenge things head on and use a spirit of fearlessness, you can go through anything. The reason why I did the base of light blue is to kind of emit some of the emotions of calmness, prominence in the wild. Even though there is these discourses and this chaos around us, there's still an air of resilience and calmness that can occur within you.
Okay.
So this one took some time, but I love it.
So is there a connection between amount of time and value of the art?
Absolutely. I would say this piece is usually the size of the canvas and the technique that I put the value on. But time is also a factor. But the biggest factor for me is size of canvas and the techniques that I use. So you can see a little bit more texture. I'm not sure if you can see from there, but in this canvas, there's a lot of texture going on here.
Okay.
There are gold pigments. So the different pigments that you use, so think about the markets too. Things that are scarce and the products that you use in it is going to determine, the value, how valuable the piece is. So in this piece, there are gold pigments, there's some silver, and then there's a lot of texture and molding in this piece as well. So it's not just acrylic paint.
So the materials used also is a big factor in evaluation.
Absolutely. The materials and techniques, because remember you asked me something. You said, Bilan, can you replicate that Pearl series again and again for people?
Right.
How difficult will it be to replicate this piece if there's a lot of techniques and pigments that go into it? So I think that's a factor too. How scarce is your art?
And what about, the regions in terms of, let's say you selling your artwork, right? Is there particular regions that are more in the world that are more open to art and increases the sales price, or is it just there's nothing that affects the world of art in that regard?
I think that's a very good question. I think in Italy, there's a lot of abstract art going through Italy and Spain. Picasso, a lot of his pieces originated in Spain and some in Paris.
Of course.
So it's not about if different regions put value on art. It's the type of art they put value on, I think, is the biggest thing. And I think abstract art in Italy and in some areas of Spain is a huge thing, as well as Cubism.
Got you. Amazing. Well, you educated us quite a bit today. I feel very confident in my understanding of the art world and the art industry. And as we move towards getting ready to close out, we could keep going on and on and on. But I wanted folks to, at this point, have opportunity to ask Bilan some questions. If you have them, again, reiterate 3 things that you could do in order to get into the art world as an entrepreneur, then have some final statements, and then continue the networking. So, any questions? Any questions?
Ask me anything.
Bilan, I got a question.
Yes.
Do you remember, you've been doing this for a while, do you remember your first art piece that you sold, and do you remember that feeling that, hey, I created this and actually somebody was passionate about it and bought it from you? Do you remember that feeling? Do you remember that piece? Can you talk to us about that?
I do remember that piece. It was something that I curated early on, a part of my marquee pieces in my collection. It may have been my 4th piece, and one of my good friends purchased that piece, and it gave me confidence that maybe I am good, maybe I can do this, and I kind of blazed through. So even if it's not a gallery acquiring your first piece, just having that someone that's close to you acquiring your piece, loving it, having it up in their office, really gave me that confidence to keep going. Because as an artist, you're going to have doubts. You're going to say, I'm taking all this time, I'm curating these pieces, I love doing it, but am I draining myself? Is this the path I really want to go down? Are these the things that I want to do in life? Just be confident and patient. Because if you love your work and you're marketing it and socializing it, people are going to purchase your work, and they're going to love it just as much as you do. So my first piece was one of my close friends purchased it, and then soon after that, I curated some pieces for my pastor here in North Carolina.
Awesome, amazing. And so, folks, again, the floor is open for some questions. If you have any questions, I have another one for you, Bilan.
Yes.
We are amidst a global pandemic. What have you seen, if anything, artists doing to sort of, bring their art to the new world order in a sense? They can't per se participate. I guess you could participate in auction houses. They're virtual probably right now, right? But that experience of being there, meeting the artist face to face, that has a value, right? What are you seeing out there in the industry that artists are doing to kind of make sure that value of their art continue rising, even though they're not able to, physically be at somewhere, or physically have auction, or physically people, for folks to see their artwork, touch it, feel it? What are folks doing? What creative things are you seeing out there? Well, how is this pandemic affecting the world? And I know, it affects everybody, but the art world is hard to gauge because of the aspect of the virtual sense.
So collaboration is the thing. Well, one of the key things that I've seen people do, especially in New York, these large art institutions are coming together and they're creating things like virtual events or art in a box. So they know people that are subscribed to their art and their website. They're actually sending out invitations and virtual boxes for people to be a part of that experience. Because people in New York, right now during this season is excited about art events and galas and everything that's creative right now is important. So the thing of collaboration, I think, is key. Another thing that I will mention is that I think I mentioned that last February, I had an art event at Bloomberg to talk about art and mental health and art therapy. And one of the photographers that we had at the event reached out to me and said, Bilan, right now, I know with COVID, we're probably not going to have another event, but I want to capture artist experiences while they're curating pieces during COVID, to kind of see how the evolution of art has changed. So I have seen that where photographers are collaborating with artists to kind of capture those moments during the COVID pandemic.
Wow. Wow. Who would have thought in a million years this would affect us?
It's crazy.
Well, you know, I am excited about art now. I've always been, but you know, now I feel that I'm in a better place of understanding. And again, thank you so much, Bilan. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And you're going to hear more about the Bilan collection. I'll definitely send you guys updates on events that's happening and things that I'm, you know, putting out and curating.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't see any questions on the chat, so at this time, Bilan, I'm gonna give the mic to you and do some last statements to close the night out and get ready to do our networking.
Right. One, I want to thank everybody for joining this session. This has been for me. And once again, art is an experience. It's your experience. So anything that you go throughout life, take that, put it on the canvas, show your emotion, and share it with the world. Because you never know when someone else is experiencing the same thing you're experiencing. Mm-hmm. And that's what my art is about. It's about bringing people together, allowing people to have that emotional experience with the things that I've dealt with in the past. So once again, thank you for having this experience with me, and you'll look for more from the Bilan collection in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everybody give Bilan a round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And also, George, I want to tell people that they're able to purchase the work on the website as well.
Awesome, awesome. And of course, we're going to talk to you about having that availability on our website as well, right?
Yes.
So, to continue this collaboration. We are very thankful for having you participate on this. We are looking forward to future collaborations and future events similar to this as you evolve in your career and as an artist. Don't forget about us when you are in the big time, right? So how
can I forget about you guys?
So no, thank you so much, Bilan. And so, at this time, I guess we're gonna keep the room open for a little bit.
Okay. And
I'm gonna put the music on. Bilan, thank you so much. Again, my name is George Sainteus with the Metro New York National Black MBA, VP of Administration. I want to thank you for participating in our Business of Art series today. We look forward to finishing up the EAS week strong. So feel free to text in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. Feel free to ask lots of questions, last minute questions if you have. I'm sure we'll get her back on. So as you can see, this has been a very informative discussion. I hope you walk away very confident about an investment in the art industry. Very confident about you as an artist. Making sure you continue to push yourself, making sure you continue to stay strong amongst this pandemic, and leveraging art as a way to deal with some mental health issues, what have you. So we at the Metro Black MBA thank you again for your time, and you have a good evening. At this time, I'm going to open the floor up for some networking. Thank you.